So
How much money can we make off grandmothers?
grandmothers.
Yeah.
I don't think
I got a new business model
No,
now.
they don't charge for this.
Pimp it out to grandmoms.
No, they don't charge for this. I think it's Friday.
Friday.
Did you know it's Friday?
I feel like we should have done Friday.
Friday.
Wow. You can tell we're not in a choir.
Anyway, happy Friday,
Hey.
which is also our podcast day.
Yes.
So happy podcast day.
Happy podcast day. Good to be back.
It is good to be here.
I feel like I've never left.
It kind of feels that
You
way.
probably didn't.
I probably didn't leave.
Spence just sleeps in his chair all the time.
Yeah. These are my favorite clothes.
I got to be honest though, I've been dealing with this, whatever this virus is for the last week that people have, like walking pneumonia or something. It's nasty. It's going through the house. So I'm feeling a little bit out of sorts today, but we're going to get through it.
That's right. Will you keep it over at your place?
I was just going to say, yeah, don't.
I will try not to cough on you.
Yes. Appreciate it. Yeah.
So today, guys, I want to talk about, I'm going to call it, it'll be much larger than this, but I want to call it the state of the world today.
Wow. That's heavy.
It is heavy.
The state of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has to do with a
I
ton
mean,
of
like Canada being a state? Like the
yes, exactly right. Exactly right. Not going to happen. Yeah, it's it has to do a lot with that, with how people are feeling about just the way the world is today and how messed up it seems to be.
Okay.
Even when you talk to our own kids, I've talked to my son about this, where he kind of says, "Well, I feel like climate change is going to wreck the world, or we might have a nuclear war, we might have this, we might have that," and they just kind of feel a little bit hopeless about the future, which upsets me because I don't want them to feel hopeless about things. But I think a lot of people are feeling like the world is so messed up and there's so much unpredictability that people are struggling a little bit, I think, with what's going on. So I just want to talk about that.
Okay. Doom and gloom it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be doom and gloom. But you guys tell me your thoughts. Like, are you feeling the same thing when you look at, if you think about media, like we're inundated by negative media right now. It's everywhere. Like you cannot look at your phone without hearing something about the U.S. or Trump or war. It's constant. So how are you guys feeling about that kind of stuff?
I'm turning off my social media and I don't watch some of those shows I used to watch because I just started hearing about it.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing. I used to watch CNN
Yes.
and, catch up on news and all that.
Fake news.
Yeah. Fake news.
Yeah.
I don't know when the last time was I watched CNN because I just I don't.
Yeah. I'm just
And
over.
I think I'm getting that from Tina because Tina's like blissfully unaware of what's going on.
Really?
I can't be like that because then, we're both going to be like completely in the
Clueless.
dark and not know why everyone is, going to the grocery store and panic buying. Like, what's going on? Everyone's like, there's a meteor coming.
We had no idea.
Yeah. So I don't want to do that, but I definitely don't watch the news as much as I used to.
I'm the
Because I
same.
agree. It's kind of,
it's depressing.
It is kind of depressing. It's like I can't change what's happening, I feel like. So I'm just going to live my life and live it to the best of my ability. And, whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
It's an interesting thing you just said about you can't be completely oblivious to what's going on. And I agree, but you also don't want to watch it.
Right.
Like Sue has said many times, I'm not going to watch it anymore, but she can't help herself. I watch her and she's on her phone and she's like, oh, I just read this article about this. Like, I thought you weren't going to watch it. But it's like she can't turn away. She doesn't want to know, but she also wants to know.
It's because she's got FOMO, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
And again, there's yes, you want to be informed of what's going on.
Yep.
And I get that, but then what happens is you read a little article and it gets you down this like rabbit hole where you're like, well, hang on, let me find out more about that, or let me look at something else, and then there you are.
No, many times I just jump on YouTube and I want to look at a tutorial about a song or something else, and I see sub headline, Trump loses it, blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh, what's that? And you click on it, and then all of a sudden that brings you to another one, and suddenly 45 minutes there, I'm like, oh crap, I didn't even look at the song.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
now
called clickbait.
and it is called
It is,
or
yeah.
doom scrolling. Yeah. And now you're angry because you just read an article that made you angry.
Yes.
Like, I mean, there's so much going on, but just looking at the U.S. right now and that huge shit show that's happening right now, it's so it's so crazy what's happening and what's going on between Trump and Musk that I'm just like, how is this? How do we even get here? Like, how is this even being allowed to happen?
Are you saying you're not a Trump supporter?
I'm
you're
not.
a MAGA?
I'm not. I'm not. Because I just
Thank you for not talking politics, Wade.
Well, no, I'm not trying to be talking politics. I just don't understand the logic and what's going on. Like, I cannot understand how the world is so messed up. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people are feeling that way, that things are either going to get really bad or we're going to somehow swing back and things are going to get better. And it makes me a bit concerned. This kind of morphs into something that I thought was really cool that I watched today. And I think it was on CBS Sunday morning.
CNN?
CNN, yeah. MSNBC. No, it was on like a CBS Sunday morning, I think, one of those shows. But it was called The Friendship Bench. And it started in Zimbabwe. And it was a doctor of psychology who started this program to really think about how can we help people who are suffering through mental health, not serious mental health, but things like isolation and loneliness and feeling like the world is kind of messed up and they're all alone with their feelings. And so he started this, what he first called the mental health bench, and he trained elders in the community. And they were all female, so they called them grandmothers, all the grandmothers, to be a support person for others that are in need of talking, comforting, just a friend, just someone to listen to or to vent to. So then one of the grandmothers said, well, let's just call it the Friendship Bench. And it has taken off. And now they're actually they've now expanded to several countries or several cities in Africa. And now they're looking at bringing it to the U.S. as well, this concept.
So is it that there's just a bench? Is either painted a certain color, it says the Friendship Bench, and then
is that what it
there's
is?
some old lady sitting there that you want to
they designate times.
Hello, dearie.
Yeah, it's like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire's on the bench waiting for you.
God loves you, dear.
Right. Is that all it is?
Well, I mean, I didn't watch the entire program, but that's the premise. They were showing this bench, and I think they probably have these set times where the people are available at the bench. You can make appointments. But it really is, it was developing connection between grandmothers who also felt isolated and felt like they had no more worth in the world because they were old and weren't working anymore. So it gives them a chance to contribute back to people, to help others, and gives younger people who feel like they're isolated a connection with someone else. And it has taken off, and these people are saying it's really helped me. I didn't feel judged. I didn't feel like I had to go see a therapist where there was stigma. I was just talking to a grandmother who had a lot of wisdom and insight because of their age, and it's taken off. I think that was just a really cool story and a way to kind of help people who are maybe suffering. And they did say, as a caveat, that if anyone has a serious mental illness, then those cases are referred on to psychiatrists or psychologists, so they don't put these grandmothers at risk. Mm-hmm. But for people who just need to talk to someone because they're having a hard time or they feel isolated, it's really changed some of their lives. And the grandmothers say, I have purpose and I love helping others, and this is awesome for me too.
So this is for people that are struggling in the world in some capacity, mental capacity, presumably, who want some help but don't really want the stigma of going to see someone, and they're just looking for. They're just trying to go find this friendship bench and
no, it's a good question.
Talk to an old lady instead of going to a therapist.
It wasn't even about the stigma of going to a therapist. It was they realized in Zimbabwe that there was a lack of resources for people who were isolated and suffering and lonely. If you read a lot of articles now, they're saying there's an epidemic of loneliness in our world because people are isolated. So they realized there wasn't a lot of support for those people, and they didn't know how to tackle that through the normal channels of we could have lots of doctors do this. So
how much money can we make off grandmothers? Yeah,
I don't think
I got a new business model.
No,
now.
they don't charge for this.
Pimp it up to grandmoms.
No, they don't charge for this. I think it's a free service.
How much does a pimp get paid for pimping out a grandma?
I don't know, but
good business model, eh?
It's like, no, I already paid you, mate. Hazel. Remember last month I paid you that money?
She's like, you did?
Did you?
It's funny they target
back on the bench.
They target dementia patients, so they never have to pay them.
Grandmas with dementia, right?
Yeah, they never have to pay them. Yeah. No, there is no charge for the service. It's totally a volunteer situation. And it wasn't about people.
I didn't think this was going to be a funny topic, but I think we found some humor. on the grandma bench.
Yeah.
The grandma bench.
Making money off of grandma.
The friendship bench.
No, but I do like the idea of, there's a lot of older, people in like homes that probably just sit there. They get pushed in front of a TV, and they're just probably wasting away. Where they would probably love to have a conversation and spit out some words of wisdom. And as you say, if there's a lack of connection that some people feel they don't have, I think that kind of sounds like a marriage made in heaven.
I think it's a good concept. I mean, they're obviously not saying, hey, this person's hearing voices to kill others and we're going to have them sit on the bench with you.
Yeah. Just share a piece of apple pie on the bench.
And, well, when when the home gets overcrowded, it's like, okay, Hazel, we have a meeting for you on the bench.
That's how they get
new
And then
beds. You just start setting up a new room for the next
that's how
incoming
that's how the beds open up at the roof at the home.
That's what they do.
Yeah. No, they don't. Of course, you go to the twisted side of it, Spencer.
I enjoy that, though.
It is funny.
It is kind of.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was, I saw like 15 minutes of this thing this morning, but I just thought that's a cool idea, Bosu. And I thought, wow, that's giving a lot of people purpose and filling a need that they're not meeting otherwise. And this is now, like I said, it's now expanding to other parts of the world and to the U.S. So we'll see if we hear more about it.
Maybe we can have like a dog walking bench, because like,
why?
How many people have dogs at home and they're like trying to rush home to walk their dog? How many old people want to go for a stroll? And we say, hey, listen, it's another business.
When you're out the granddads, when you're done helping
the dog.
when you're done helping Billy on the bench,
on your way to the bench,
take my Rottweiler for a walk.
Listen, he's only bitten a few people, but he'll be fine. Why is he wearing a muzzle?
Oh, Jesus.
The dog, on the way to the bench, to the friendship bench, you can walk my dog.
Yeah.
That's perfect. And how about the Grandma Grocery Club?
Oh, my God.
To do your groceries for you, too?
Yeah.
And they clip all the coupons, too, so you would save a fortune.
We're onto something here.
Maybe we should just do an entire podcast on what purpose grandmas have.
For the low price of $19.99, you could have 3 different services going, right?
Yeah.
Annual subscription.
Guys, I gotta go. I'm going online right now to check out how I can make this happen. If you guys want in on the ground level, I'm doing an IPO. I'm getting this thing going.
Oh my God, that's too funny.
I'm doing a grandma meme coin.
It's called Grand Meme. Oh, that's so funny.
So stupid.
Leave it to you two to make this. I mean, I think it's hilarious.
No, I actually think but it's a good idea.
It was actually a pretty heartwarming idea, and I thought it gives a lot of people purpose. So, we need kind of more of that in our world today.
And I don't have a dog walker for my Dobermans, so it's good.
Perfect. No, I mean, I started out by saying that the state of the world is awful right now, and and it's easy to go down that rabbit hole and think that nothing is good. There's lots of good, but this reminded me this morning that there's lots of good still, and I just saw it in a world that is seemingly falling apart before our eyes. Yeah. It's like the crumbling of the Roman Empire in front of our eyes, almost.
Well, it's like the world that's so connected. Everyone is so connected right now, but yet everyone feels disconnected from each other, which is so weird.
We're more connected.
We've never been so connected.
It's very true. It's very
Why
true.
do you say that we're more connected?
Social media.
Just social media? Like just connected with what's going on in the world?
Social media,
Flights.
Internet.
Yeah.
Like you pick up your phone, you can connect with anyone around the world.
I thought when you said connect, I thought you meant like personal connection, not physically the fact that we can see and do anything anywhere in the world.
The ability to be connected.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. I get
but
it.
with that ability to be connected at any point in time with anybody, everyone seemingly feels disconnected.
It's very true.
And there's no personal relationships, even though we have all this connection available to us.
It is a weird dichotomy. 100%. Yeah.
You know what? If we put a Dickie D card at the bench, she could be making some cash.
Does Dickie D exist still?
I think it's called Mr. Frost.
So now we're going to sell ice cream.
No, I'm just thinking you'd be promoting business opportunities for seniors as well, right?
Huh.
Dickie D, a little bit of advice on the side, and then dog walk on the way home.
Huh. Maybe that could be for grandpas, right? We'll call it Popsicles and Papa.
Papa's Popsicles.
Popsicles.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Popsicles.
No, you just said something really, I think, really quite intuitive, though, Spence. That's what I'm looking for. Insightful.
Yeah, I have those nuggets.
You do
every
have
now
those
and then.
nuggets.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. We have so much ability to stay connected today, but we're all very disconnected or feel very isolated and lonely. Like they've said, this morning they said there's an epidemic of loneliness in the world and isolation. I thought, wow, that's so fascinating that that's how we are, even though we have this ability to be connected.
I think the difference is the connection that we have now. I think it's not a true connection. It's like a digital connection. You can send an emoji, you can do this, but that's not really, as you said before.
It can't replace the personal hand-to-hand, in your face type conversation.
Yeah, and I think too that when you have those intimate conversations that we've talked about in previous podcasts, that gives you the connection, right? You feel a closeness because you're actually communicating verbally and not just over text that has no intonation. There's no there's no feeling or vibe with that, right? And I think it's a different form of connection. Yes, you can say, "Oh, I talked to so and so, I talked to Andrew, or I did talk to this person," but unless you're talking to them on the phone, it's a different level of communication. It's surface level.
And I think we're all communicating now via text and emails, and there's so much misconstruing of what you're talking about that happens also.
Well,
Which leaves
it's efficient communication. It's not that it's meaningful or deep
I agree.
or
It's
intimate.
efficient.
It's just very efficient.
I don't know what I did without text, truthfully.
Yeah.
Just to be able to answer somebody, yep, on my way. So much easier than any other form of communication.
Right. But I think that's the nuances of communication, is that it's not just yep, nope, and quick to the point, because then you're not forming any connection. I think the whole point of having a conversation is that like it's nuanced, and you start, you might be trying to talk about one thing.
Yep.
Hey, what time are you going to be here? But then they might tell you some backstory, and then you start, going deeper into that conversation as to why they're late or what's happening.
You're hearing each other's perspectives and honoring that. Yeah. When you talk about we're more connected, I think that's not just even social media. I think it's media in general. Like if you think about it, it's not uncommon to know what's happening at every second of the day, every day. And that was never the way. Like growing up, it was the 11 o'clock news, and you got your news for the day. Now it's whenever you want it, it's on demand.
It's whenever you hear a ding on your phone.
Yeah, exactly. You get the alert now that there's a breaking news story, because every freaking story is now breaking, apparently. But I think that level of connection is not healthy, and I think because we're so connected that way, it makes you wonder: are we too connected? Because does everyone really need to know what's happening in the world at every second of every day? Is that healthy? And I'm not sure that it is.
It probably creates anxiety. To be
I think it does.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah, I think, and I don't want to call anybody out, but there's some people that are, extremely, that I know that are very heavy into their Facebook, as an example. Okay. Just constantly have to post everything all the time. Everybody's got to know what's going on. And I think that there's this false sense of, people want to know, because all this information is accessible all the time, people seem to think that, they got to put it out there because everybody's going to.
I wish I knew who you were talking
about.
Want
to know.
I don't know.
Well, I'm not talking about anybody you know.
Oh, okay.
Well, I know some people.
Oh. But no, I just think that somehow we've created a bit of a monster in the fact that everybody thinks that they have to respond right away. They have to be on top of everything. They have to, text the second they think of something. I don't know.
Yeah, but I agree, though. I don't like the fact. That's why, as much as I appreciate texting and the convenience of that, I also don't like the pervasiveness of texts. Because if I don't want to answer and someone texts me, now I feel like I have to respond. Because they just texted, and it's like, to put another one, a question mark, hello, are you there? Ding. It's like, can you fuck off? I'm not answering you right now.
It's Pavlov's dog. Like we all respond to the ding. Like
sometimes I don't want to respond to the ding, but I feel like I have to, because now someone's texting me, they need an urgent answer. But it's like, what if I don't? I'm not on your timeline. I'm doing something else, but you still feel obligated.
True. I feel like this conversation has morphed from the grandmas on the bench to bashing social media.
Well, we're talking about the state of the world, and I think obviously social media has played a huge role in how people feel about the world today. I would love to get rid of social media because I think it's not helping us in any stretch of the imagination. But I personally struggle with not feeling hopeless about where the world's heading, and I would I would hazard a guess if you talk to our parents and then their parents and then their parents, every generation would say the world's going to pot and this next generation is not okay and we're not, and they're going to be like, they're the ones going to be raising us and we're in so much trouble. And we all kind of survived. And I'm sure it's all going to be the same. But it does feel differently right now. It feels like things are really bad.
Well, we're testing a lot of limits right now, and, you know, especially in government, some of the changes going on in the U.S., and I don't want to get into a big political debate, but there's lots of things going on that are challenging the norms, right? And everybody's trying to figure out how to navigate their way through that, right?
Yeah, and I think navigating through that is incredibly hard right now. I think people are not sure how to do that, which is why I like the idea of the friendship bench or the grandma bench, where it kind of just helped people navigate some of those things they're going through and made them feel like there's hope and things aren't as bad as they may think they are.
I got the name.
Okay.
Well,
Granny Graham. Like Instagram, but it's
Granny Graham.
Granny Graham.
Oh, great! Another app I got to have.
Yeah.
You know.
You have the Granny Graham app?
No, not yet.
Well, I'm going to have all the grannies connected, and we're going to make a fortune just for.
You know what? I'm going to start building benches then. Forget it. I'm gonna get
It's
the
a
bench
digital
building
bench.
business.
It's a digital. It's Granny Graham.
It's a digital bench.
Oh, a digital bench.
They're just there staring
So you
at
just-
the TV with their phone in their hand.
Just connect with the granny anytime in their living room.
yeah. And they're going to have to respond
Granny
because
Graham.
it's a text. They got to respond to it. Like, Grammy!
So if there's any investors out there that want to invest in Granny Graham, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in Shark Tank now.
Well, this is our version.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. You don't know that music, Chap?
Of course I do. Yeah, I just didn't like your rendition.
I thought it was a great rendition. Yeah.
Granny Grahams. Perfect. No, you know what? We've been kind of doing this in a sense, talking about grannies in the old folks' homes, right? Because in the retirement homes,
Yeah, they're not called old folks' homes.
retirement homes.
Yes.
I corrected myself.
Okay.
The young folks' home, is that better?
The nursing home.
It's a nursing home,
Long-term
retirement,
care,
whatever.
Long-term care
all
residents.
of them. They're all various stages of that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Assisted living.
sure.
There you go.
That too. But there's been, you know, young people going in and who just sit and chat with the older people.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing. Just to like, there is a friend. People that go in and play music, and the seniors just sit there and listen to it just to cheer them up. So I mean, that's kind of been going on. This idea of it being a bench.
Well, I think there's also, wasn't there like animal shelters that took dogs and stuff?
100%.
Right? So
So we've been doing various incarnations of this kind of idea for some time, which I think is a good idea.
No. The difference was we go into a long-term care home to brighten the day of someone who's in that home.
Right.
They're now taking seniors who are not in a long-term care home but feel like they've lost a sense of purpose and giving them a purpose, but in the same equally helping someone else in need. So it is similar. I'm just saying one is not going to support the older person. It's the older person supporting the younger person, which is really cool.
Well, it's a cool idea, Wade. I might just look it up. What was it called?
Granny Graham.
Granny Cam or Graham?
No, that's a different website.
Which one you want to walk? You want to walk the? Do you want to walk the dog side, or which one?
No, I'm serious. What was it
It
called?
was called the Friendship Bench.
The Friendship Bench. I'll look it up.
Originated in Zimbabwe.
So we should kind of, what's the moral of the story? That everybody should just be kinder and think about what do they have to offer to somebody that maybe just needs an ear.
Well, I don't know what the moral is. I just know it's easy to go down the rabbit hole of thinking everything is really bad right now.
Hopeless, yeah. But
And
it's not. You see these little stories and it
it's
kind of
not.
gives you a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, I agree.
not.
Yeah.
It's all about perspective and maybe staying off your social media.
And looking at the positive side of life.
Yeah. Thanks for indulging
like
me,
it.
guys. I know that was a bit of a
No,
struggle
actually,
to
I
get
did
through.
like that one.
You know, went on a different tangent there.
Well, I think you liked it because of the whole granny cam.
But
And
that's what I think. That's what this whole podcast.
It wasn't
is
a
about,
Granny
is that-
Cam, Wade.
that's a different one.
I think is that we have a certain. You had a certain road you wanted to go down, and we somehow morphed it. Because I think Chad and I both looked at each other and we're like, "This is what we're going to talk about." Like it sounded depressing.
Well, it
And
can
then,
be. It
but
can
we
be.
thankfully this podcast has Chad and I to spice it up.
Well, thank God
And
you were
get
here.
some. Yeah. Well, you're
Once
welcome.
Granny was walking the dogs and selling those cones, I was,
Right.
You were in.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It was good. I liked it actually.
Thank you, Wade.
I'm not getting the sense that you did really
I
like
did.
it, but no, it's okay.
It turned out to be
know what?
something very interesting.
I found
appreciate
it was cathartic for me, so
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well,
you're very welcome.
You should just go build your very own friendship bench and just get right on it.
And to all of you who want to build your own friendship bench or Granny Graham, whatever,
Granny Graham,
please share this
trademarked.
podcast.
That's right. Share this with the grannies everywhere.
Yeah, like and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. Anyway,
I'll see you next time.
on